sacrifice your liberties for safety or security, because you'll end up with neither. This is the reason I have come to the conviction you never have to sacrifice your liberty if you want to be safe. Never. But we now are living in an age where civil liberties are poorly protected. We have a Patriot Act that has canceled out the Fourth Amendment. We have had a bill, the National Defense Authorization Act, which now permits the arrest of American citizens by the military without a trial and put in prison indefinitely. That is not part of what America is all about, and those laws have to be repealed if we want to live in a true republic. Our government is too big. The bigger a government gets, the smaller our liberties become. Government is way too big, and that is why we're losing our liberties. We're losing our economic liberties as well as our personal liberties. So therefore, what we must do is cut back. Now, why? How did we get into this trouble? Yes, there's always an appetite for big government. There's always this temptation of getting something for free. And there's always the motivation, well, we'll help the poor people. The trouble is once you endorse the principle of the redistribution of wealth, even though pretend it's going to help the poor, guess what? The redistribution gets handed off to the rich, and they're the ones who benefit. They're the ones who become wealthy, and when they get into trouble, guess who gets the bailouts? The wealthy, the Wall Streeters, and the bankers. This is the reason there should be no bailouts at all. But there's a simple little trick that they played on us and the American people, and that trick was played on us in the monetary system. They figured, well, yes, it's a wealthy country. Freedom produces a lot of wealth, and that was fine. We can tax the people to a certain point, and then the people get annoyed. But we still, the politician still wants to pass out all the goodies, so they say, we'll keep borrowing. The credit good, we keep borrowing till interest rates go up. Aha, interest rates are going up, that's going to hurt the economy, so we have to have another gimmick. And that gimmick was invented in 1913. It was made a disaster in 1971, and that is the destruction of the currency through an illegal operation, an unconstitutional operation of the Federal Reserve System, which we should address and have a full audit and find out where and how they're spending all their money. We get into so much trouble because the Constitution has been ignored, whether it's going to war or the Constitution still says that only gold and silver can be legal tender. So I would say that it would be very proper to send only people to Washington, and those who are there hold their feet to the fire, that we want people to obey the law of the land, which is the Constitution, and you can't print money, you can't go to war without a declaration, and you can't undermine our privacy any longer. The solution is not difficult. The solution was once well known in America, and that is when we understood and respected personal liberty. Understanding that liberty came, as the Declaration of Independence indicated, it came from our Creator. We have a right to our life. We have a right to our liberty. We should have a right to keep the fruits of all our labors. But we have undermined that productive system by having too much government, too much spending, too much borrowing, too much printing press of money, and too many regulations. So the reversal is to obey the Constitution and get the government out of the way. And people say, oh, then there'll be no regulations. No, the regulations would be tougher because the people who are supposed to go bankrupt would go bankrupt and they wouldn't get bailed out. But the wonderful thing about a free society is a prosperous society. We all should be humanitarians. And unfortunately, we who advocate this position haven't done a very good job over the years, because we should have convinced people that those who grab the moral high ground and say that we're going to take care of the poor, what do? Welfareism and inflationism and socialism, they produce the poor. It's only freedom that produces the prosperity. It gives us the broadest distribution of wealth. It gives us the biggest middle class and the wealthiest of middle class. That is being undermined and destroyed, and the problem can be solved by just a true understanding and conviction and the restoration of individual liberty. The wonderful thing about the principles of liberty is it brings people together, because everybody won't use their liberty in the same way. But if you understand that, you will tolerate other people and how they spend their money and how they run their lives and what they do, as long as they don't hurt people. So for this reason, people of diversity would come together, because they don't want to lose their liberty. They respect other people's liberty as well. This is why the solution is not that difficult. We've had this experimentation. We had the greatest success, and we lost our faith and confidence, and that's what we need restored. We have to truly understand this. And it isn't going back to the old days. We don't have to go back to an old gold standard or back to those principles. We need to go back and pick up the pieces and advance it and modernize this. We need an advancement of the cause of liberty and the understanding of liberty. This is the only solution. If our goal be peace and prosperity, it is the only way you can achieve peace and prosperity. That should be our goal. It shouldn't be the goal of governments and mischief makers to run your life, to police what you do, to police other people around the world, nor to tell you how to run your economy.